Hi guys, feel free to like and subscribe if you're getting something out of this content. And if you are interested in private coaching, go to www.coachcatwithak.org. In this video, what I'm going to talk about is why is infidelity and cheating such a problem in narcissistic relationships? I'm going to be referring a lot to my notes. Think of it this way. Narcissists are like drug addicts. Their drug is narcissistic supply. What is narcissistic supply? It is adulation, validation, anything that feeds their ego, right? So they're addicted to external validation. They're addicted to feeling special, and cheating is a very good way to get this sort of adulation and feeling special. They love the attention and adoration of people, not the love, but the attention, adoration, and worship of other people. And they use narcissistic supply to validate the idea that they are superior, that they are special, that they are unique, that they are highly sought after. This helps to validate and prop up their false sense of self. And again, it's all about feeding their ego. They have this addiction to feeling special, unique, and highly sought after. So, again, cheating is a way to get that. In these, they also cheat because they love triangulation. They love the intrigue that they get by having two people fighting for them, right? And a lot of times these people don't even know that they're fighting because they don't know that there's even another person. But for a narcissist's ego, this is a delicious snack to feel sought after by multiple different people. And it helps them to prop up their false sense of self and ignore the true self, which is deeply insecure, right? Another reason they cheat is because they need constant supply. It's never enough from one person. They need a lot. Another reason they cheat is because they feel very entitled. Remember, they have the 3 E's, the exploitation, the entitlement, and the low or impaired empathy, or none at all. So they also feel very entitled. They are special. The rules do not apply to narcissists. The rules are for the peasants, not for them. They're very special, and helps to prop up the idea that they're quite superior to the rest of the 7 billion people on the planet. And the rules, they also cheat because they don't like the rules and constraints that are placed on them by marriage or a committed relationship. They don't actually like those confines. They don't want to feel like an average person, like all the other 7 billion people on the planet that just chop wood and carry water. Not that all of us do, but they don't want to feel like normal, right? And to them, marriage is so boring, and because it's just so normal. That's what the normal people do. But that's not what the special, unique narcissist does. Then I made videos on this. Well, then why would they get married? Well, they're torn between that. And then they also want to send this mask of normalcy and being a nice guy or girl and being like an honest Boy Scout. And it makes them look respectable. It gives them a sense of feeling normal and stable. So on one hand, they do want to send that mask, right? So that they can look like a good guy or a good girl. And they also get that constant source of supply from one partner, but then they're also feeding their ego from all these other partners or all these other affair partners that they have. They have a deep lack of humility and a profound self-centeredness. And again, this makes them feel like the rules simply do not apply to them. They apply to everyone else, but not to them. Cheating makes them feel above average and like they don't need to follow the rules. They feel that it's their actual right to cheat. They also cheat because they get very bored. They get bored easily. They need external excitement all of the time. The cheating can give them a lot of intrigue, right? Because they're sneaking and they're lying and they're getting away with it, and they get to be very duplicitous. So this feeds their sense of excitement. They typically get, they're going to be getting narcissistic supply from the affair partner and the spouse. Again, triangulation. That's a lot of feeding of their ego. It makes them feel very good to know that people are fighting for them, pining for them. They just really get off on that. Another reason they cheat is they have very low impulse control, very little discipline. They do not have external or internal boundaries. So they're just they're driven by impulse, just like a lot of drug addicts, right? So again, they cheat because in the moment it feels good and that's all they care about, and they don't really think about the long-term consequences to their children, to their partner, to their affair partner, to their affair partner's children. It just doesn't occur to them. And coupled with this low empathy, where they can't imagine what it would be like to be in somebody else's shoes who thinks that they're in a committed monogamous relationship and then have this deep and profound betrayal from someone. So that's part of the reason. They also have, they lack discipline. They also have a deep fear of intimacy, right? They see intimacy as a way of somebody getting inside and like taking away their rights or taking away their freedoms. Intimacy makes them feel very, very uncomfortable because I think deep down they're so insecure. They don't feel good about themselves internally, deep down inside. So they're afraid of somebody looking inside and seeing them for who they really are. They can't send themselves. These are not authentic people. They do not, they do not feel good about intimacy. And in a normal monogamous committed relationship, there is definitely an expectation of a deeper level of emotional intimacy, right? And they don't like that. They don't like the idea of being chained to another human, especially one that they consider inferior, because they consider everyone inferior. They don't want to feel obliged to abide by, society's constraints. And they really hate routine. They find it very boring. Again, the intrigue of an affair, they get off on that deception. It makes them feel less bored, right? And of course, the reason they find all relationships boring is because their relationships are totally surface and shallow. They're not curious about the internal mechanisms and internal feelings and internal life of the person they're with. So really, if you or in a monogamous, committed, long-term relationship, part of the beauty of that is discovering the nuances of a person and their character and like being curious about their internal life. But narcissists are all about shallow, skin deep. They're not really interested in like the more complex nuances of a human being. So of course they get bored. It's like, to them, people are like cardboard cutouts. So you're just dating a cardboard cutout. Of course, you're going to get bored with it after a little while, but that is the failing in them, not in you. You're not boring. They're just not curious enough to find out how truly interesting you really are. They hate routine. They find it boring. Also, what happens, this is the weird thing, when narcissists get caught, a lot of times they'll beg for their partner to stay and they won't let that partner leave, which is very weird because it's like, wait a minute, you want to have sex with 10 other people. Why don't you just go do that? Like if it'd almost be like it would be more honest if they were like, I'm a polygamist. I don't want to be in a monogamous relationship. I want to have sex with 47 people in 30 days. That's just who I am. On some level, that is a much deeper form of honesty and integrity than somebody who's pretending to be monogamous, pretending to be committed, and then doing all of this, intrigue and cheating and lying and all that gaslighting. Like, it's just so weird to me. But also, a lot of times they cheat because, they also want to appear, especially if they're the covert, like a pillar of the community, like they're an honest Boy Scout or Girl Scout. So they need that mask of normalcy that is the confines of a marital relationship to kind of uphold that false sense of self, even though internally it's not who they really are. These are, again, we've talked about this a lot. You cannot, these are the most dishonest people. These people are not even honest with themselves. They are pathological in their dishonesty and their self-deception and their delusion. And of course, that is how they are with everyone around them. They also simply do not have any empathy for their partner. They cannot imagine what it would be like to be in another person's shoes. So it doesn't occur to them the pain that they could be causing by cheating. It doesn't occur to them. They don't feel it. They have no idea of what that would feel like. So they just cannot empathize. They just don't get it. They think you're ridiculous for being so upset with them for cheating. Like, don't you know who they think they are? They also have no internal moral compass or boundaries that would stop them like normal people. Their issue is if they get caught and they get exposed, and they don't like that because you may be messing with their mask if there's some sort of exposure around their cheating. Who do they typically cheat with? They cheat with a number of different types of people. Sometimes they cheat with somebody who has no idea that they're married or in a relationship. Person's just totally duped. This could be like the one night stands or short-term affairs. And in this case, the narcissist uses like lies of omission. They can use a lot of work travel to get away with that type of cheating. A second type is the person who knows the narcissist is married. They know they're in a relationship, but they have been subjected to this smear campaign where the narc has portrayed themselves as the victim, and the spouse or the committed partner is like the evil one. The narcissist is the victim, but the other person is like so bad, and they don't appreciate them, and they don't really treat the narcissist right, and that person has no idea that this person is a narcissist typically, so they could just be duped. And then the third type of cheating is where narcissists will often go back to the exes, ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend. They go back, they cheat with the ex because they can. They did a Hoover, the ex was still trauma bonded, let them back in. The ex typically is keeping this on the down low because if their friends and family knew, they'd be really worried about them because they know what the narcissist put them through. So sometimes a narcissist is able to cheat with their ex because there's still a trauma bond there. If you're the person in that position, you may have gotten sucked back in because you still have that trauma bond. And I totally get that. But that's why it's so important for you to break that trauma bond. And, you can do it. This is all very possible. You can absolutely break a trauma bond with a narcissist. It will happen if you do the work, and it will happen in time. But yeah, that's a little bit of a take on, why narcissists might cheat, and why if you're, it's a pattern, it's what they do. They cheat for narcissistic supply. They cheat for validation, ego gratification. The rules don't apply to them. They lack, they have low empathy. They feel very entitled, and they're very exploitative. So thank you so much. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope you're thriving and doing radical self-care. Have a good day. Bye.